For 8th grade section 5.4, we're dealing with solving the inequalities. Basically, there's only one rule you have to know when you're solving inequalities, and we'll go over that a little bit, but until we get to this rule right here, you just treat the inequality like an equal sign. All the rules are the same. Whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other, and I'm aiming to isolate the letter, okay, the variable. So if I'm isolating y, the friend from y that I don't want is positive 5. So in order for me to get rid of that, I'm going to do a negative 5, okay? Just treat it again like an equal sign. And I'll do y equals 11 minus 5, oh, sorry, not equals. Y is greater than 6. Okay? So in this case, it's the same thing. I'm going to add 1 and 1/2 to both sides. 1 and 1/2. I don't need to find a common denominator because I just have to add the whole number, and I end up with h is less than 6 and 1/2. And all I need to do here, just again when I graph, I'm going to do 0, 6 and 1/2, negative 6 and 1/2, and positive 6 and 1/2. This is in fact open or closed circle. Well, because there's no line, remember from the last section, because there's no line underneath, I'm going to do open circle as 6 and 1/2. And since all the values for h are smaller because it's less than, that means 6 and 1/2 is the biggest it'll get, I'm going to go face to the left because all of the left represents all the smaller numbers. So basically it's just, a combination of what you learned in the beginning of the section and last section on just treat it like an equal sign. The same rules apply. The only thing is, when I multiply or divide by, not just multiply or divide, but when I multiply or divide by a negative number, okay, that causes me to have to flip the inequality, okay, because multiplying and dividing the negative number by a negative number drastically changes the equation. So, for example, when I'm doing negative 9 is less than negative 27, well, I'm just going to do the same rule, right? I want to isolate x. And the opposite of multiplying by a negative 9 is dividing by a negative 9. So these cancel out. So it still works the same. The only thing is because this negative 9, now if this 9 wasn't a negative and this was a negative 27, I wouldn't flip it. Because I'm not dividing or multiplying by a negative number, it just so happens the number I'm dividing or multiplying is negative, but that doesn't count. It's only when the actual number I'm moving is negative itself, okay? I cancel out and I take this and I flip this way. And negative 27 divided by negative 9, these negatives cancel out and I end up with positive 3. Okay? Now, when I do this, okay, the fraction, remember all I need to do to get rid of a fraction is I need to flip it and multiply. So if I do 2/3, sorry, it's supposed to be 3/2. So 3 over 2. The reason why I do that, this cancels out and this cancels out, right? And so I do the same thing here, 3 over 2. So I take the top, I take the whole number and I multiply it by the top, so 18 times 3. And then I divided that by 2, gives me 27. So 27 is greater than negative g. I cannot leave it as negative g. I can either multiply or divide by a negative, but let's multiply by a negative 1. This negative 1 times the negative g cancels out, and I have to multiply this by a negative 1 as well. Well, because I'm multiplying by a negative number, okay, because I'm multiplying by a negative number, I have to take this and I have to flip it. And I end up with negative 27 equals positive g. I cannot leave my variable a negative. Right? So go ahead and try this. Page 246, number 4 and 9, 246, number 44 and 9, and I'll see you in class.